I'm supposed to believe that the Dodgers aren't breaking baseball? Come on. Well, no SkeeYees for you today. No SkeeYees for MLB. No SkeeYees for anybody. We are the PHNX Dbacks podcast, and we are still live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. But we are not happy. Dodgers once again broke baseball. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX, and we are going to break down this Edwin Diaz situation, why it's not just bad for the Dbacks, but it's bad for all of Major League Baseball. I am not alone. Of course, I'm never alone. I got my guy, Damon, Dawg, the one, the only, the leche to my cafe cone on the ones and twos today. And you know he is especially unhinged today. But more than anything, I think we're feeling a little defeated. Right? I think we're feeling defeated. And I mean, we'll get to that here shortly. But this show is brought to you by our friends at Game Time. And thankfully, they are still here to help us save money, unlike the Dodgers that are trying to spend all the money. But you can go download the Game Time app right now, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase on those already low last-minute ticket deals. Terms do apply. Yes, the news is true. The information coming out this morning after a fairly uneventful day one of the winter meetings yesterday is that the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are a bunch of goddamn liars, have landed Edwin Diaz. We knew they were going to. We knew that the only teams that could afford Edwin Diaz after he opted out of his contract with the New York Mets had to be either him going back to the Mets on a new deal or him coming over to the Los Angeles Dodgers. And that is the case. There are reports that the Dodgers now have the best closer in Major League Baseball, at least that was available on the free agent market, reaching a 3-year, $69 million deal. And no, it's not nice. I know, I wanted to say nice to that. I'm not saying nice this time because I'm not happy. $33 million per season is his annual value here. That's practically what the Diamondbacks had to spend this entire offseason. Right? I mean, the estimates are maybe 40 million, right? So just 7 million shy of what the Diamondbacks had to spend on their entire needs. This was a team that needed nothing. This is a team that has won 2 consecutive World Series championships. This is a team that got their manager just yesterday said he was fine with running it back. Now today, the Dodgers have acquired Edwin Diaz. And the other talk is that they're apparently trying to trade for Tarek Skubal. It's crazy. Ryan's right. The Dodgers figured out how to trigger the unlimited money glitch. We need somebody to deal with this. They definitely are OP, and they need to be powered down.
What they've done, Derek, is they've turned off money on MLB The Show franchise mode. They've literally gone into the settings.
Right.
They've selected money off.
Right.
And then now they're having fun playing the game like how I did when I was 6 years old. Except the difference being here is that MLB The Show franchise mode actually has more financial constraints than the Dodgers do in real life.
The MLB The Show would be like, you know what? Even with the money off, no, we're not letting this
They'd be like,
deal
you
happen.
have $56 million to spend this offseason. And in reality, the Dodgers have unlimited money to spend every offseason.
The deal is it sets an average annual value record for a relief pitcher that Edwin Diaz had already set with the New York Mets.
We were all shocked about that.
And what's wild is what did we talk about when it came to Dodgers breaking baseball? We said it wasn't it wasn't the Shohei Ohtani deal that sent people, meaning people in baseball, over the edge. It wasn't the acquisition of Yoshinobu Yamamoto. It wasn't the addition of Roki Sasaki. It was the Tanner Scott addition last offseason. And guess what? That didn't work out for them. Yet somehow all of their other signings did, right? They finally had one that really didn't work out for them in Tanner Scott. And who's to say it won't? Tanner Scott might rebound and be fine. And then their bullpen is amazing now with the addition of Edwin Diaz. Their bullpen is the best in baseball. Their lineup is the best in baseball. Their starting rotation is the best in baseball.
It's moments like today, Derek, where it's really hard not to curse on this podcast.
I told you before we started, I needed to say the F word at least 17 times just to get it out of my system, for it was inevitable that I would say it on this show, cursing about the Dodgers.
Vintage Derek and Damon would be just letting F-bombs fly right
Vintage
now.
Derek would be drunk and shirtless right now, and this chair would have gone through the glass of that door, because that's how I feel. And Elizabeth is right. Zabe is not wrong. I think it is time for Damon and I to record a Dbacks After Dark about this exact subject.
I'm with it. I was also going to say I will curse for super chats on today's show. If you want me to say the F-bomb, send in super chats and I will deal with the repercussions later.
Let's go. Well, we need to say them because this is doom and gloom. Yes, this is a disaster for the Diamondbacks in 2026. How as an organization do you not just wrap it up? Call it a season already? How do you, as Mike Hazen, not just start packing your bag in your room and start heading back to Arizona? Why would Ken Kendrick, our Uncle Ken, who has been so benevolent the last 2 off seasons, giving us all of this money to spend on these free agents that didn't work out for us, why would Ken Kendrick open up his wallet anymore? It feels like a fool's errand. It feels like there's no reason to compete because the Dodgers winning another World Series title next year already seems inevitable. And I don't really feel like I'm being dramatic, even though I know I am dramatic. I feel like this is a very fair thing to say. Competitive balance in baseball is dead. What the Dodgers have just doomed us to is not only another year under their reign in 2026, most likely, under that evil reign of the Dodgers atop Major League Baseball, they have 100% ensured that we will be locked out in 2027. Plain and simple. The Edwin Diaz signing, if the Tanner Scott signing is what essentially pushed the majority of the ownership in Major League Baseball to feel like they are willing to lose millions of dollars in order to correct this and make it more fair, then this Edwin Diaz to the Dodgers deal, it will 100% push this entire thing far over the edge. And I just don't understand it. I really don't. I feel like the Dodgers are doing this in a way where they like, and this is fine, right? Like historically in sports, there have been dominant franchises that had a dynasty. And that's what the Dodgers are ensuring that they have here, is a dynasty. But what fun is this for Major League Baseball? What fun is the outlook for baseball fans that aren't Dodgers fans in 2026 going forward because of this and the 2027 lockout? Also, if they do fix anything in baseball in 2027 with the new CBA, it's going to take time to take effect. So much to BC's delight in our chat. Yes, the Dodgers are probably going to win 4 or 5 championships and kill off the popularity of baseball effectively. The one thing that they've determined is that repeat champions is the thing that really does cause people to lose interest in the sport. It does give everybody a big bad, right? Like, you are for sure now either a Dodgers fan or not. I feel like there's a hard line where you can't waddle in the middle like I did at one time when I used to say, oh man, it's hard to hate these guys. Not anymore. It's easy to hate them now. It's so easy to hate them.
I'd argue it always has been.
You would definitely argue that it always has been. But now more so than ever, right? And when I say hateable, you know what I meant. right? Like,
well, what's hateable is people like BC, who is a nice guy, who comes in here and is cheering this on and celebrating it when, as you say, Derek, it's going to hurt the popularity of the sport. It's going to cause a lockout in 2027. This is not good news for the overall health of baseball. So while I understand you're going to be happy your team is winning and you're signing all the best players every offseason, I don't understand how this could be something that you would be celebrating. I don't see how it could be something that's fun.
I don't understand how, in general, this isn't viewed as something that's ruining baseball. But when you got to understand it from a Dodgers fan perspective, right? This is great. This is great. And it's especially great after everybody did the Mickey Mouse ring thing to them, right? I mean, that almost feels like that's why they want to put their throat on the rest of Major League Baseball, or more than anything, is the fact that we mocked them for the first championship that they won since the late 80s, and they came roaring back in a way that no franchise can really compete with. Not to mention the fact that, BC's trying to say that's not how it works, like as if this isn't going to be something that ruins baseball. And he talks about how other teams were championships and that they all got better ratings because of those years. And I would say that's definitely not the case. But, again, what this more is about is that when those sports and those teams created franchises that were dynasties, they were done under, you could argue, far more fair rules when it came to payrolls and such in those sports than in this one, right?
You don't have to argue it, Derek. It's a fact.
It's just a fact, right?
Those sports all have hard caps where you can't go over the certain allotted amount of money, or else you're paying so heavily into the tax that it will debilitate your future spending that you can do. Whereas the Dodgers, they get a tax, but they just say, cool, we'll pay it. No big deal. Doesn't bother us any. And then they do it all again the next year.
Yeah. But Michael Dixon is definitely right in the chat. He says this is not a Dodgers problem, and it's not. It's an MLB problem, and Dodgers are just doing what they are allowed to do.
And that's ultimately the truth at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Dodgers have the ability to do this, and they're trying to do their best to win, which is what every team should be doing, correct? But it doesn't mean that I think that their fans celebrating it and throwing it in people's faces isn't despicable behavior.
Well, it's not. I mean, whatever. Those fans can do whatever they want. They can choose to be that. And again, this is like, if you're a fan of that team, I don't blame you at all for applauding this and having your team get better. I mean, honestly, a lot of this is out of jealousy because of the fact that we don't have that, especially here in Arizona. Right?
I don't want to be them, though, Derek. I want an equal, fair sport where you win based off the merit of how good your organization is. That's what I want MLB to be.
Right.
And the Dodgers are a great organization. They have an unreal farm system. They make fantastic decisions in their front office.
Yeah.
They still would be a good franchise, but it needs to be an equal playing field. It needs to be an equal playing field, or else the sport will die in the process.
Yeah.
Unless your entire goal, and we've talked about this a million times, is to just have people in Japan watch this sport. Is to just have people in Mexico watch the sport.
Well, I mean,
because if you're willing to punt on your American audience, that's fine. But you literally need parity, and you need small market teams to have an opportunity to win.
Right. Because
the Dbacks are a miracle in MLB's sense, based off of what happened in 2023.
A lack of popularity with the smaller market teams just leads to more of this, which is already the problem with baseball. And again, yes, the Dodgers aren't the problem. They're just, I guess, an example of the problem. And I will definitely concede that the Pirates and the Marlins and other teams, the Rays, they're as much a part of the problem as the teams that spend a lot of money, right? But at least the Pirates pretended like they were in on getting Schwarber. Right? Like, at least they pretended that. They did make an offer. However, in other free agent news, Kyle Schwarber is staying in Philadelphia, according to a source. MLB.com had an article this morning that Schwarber and the Phillies have agreed to a 5-year, $150 million contract. The team has not confirmed the move, obviously, Damon, but I don't know. There's a part of me that feels better about Schwarber staying with the Phillies and not being added to like a Mets team that's doing the same thing as the Dodgers, but overall, again, it still feels like this is a ton of money for Kyle Schwarber, and
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter for the Phillies.
Yeah,
and they needed him. And if you have the money for it, why wouldn't you pay that amount of money for the second best DH in the league, one of the best pure hitters in baseball? I wish that Derek. All it's going to make me think today on a day like today is I wish my team, who clearly needs a DH, clearly needs a power influx, could compete for a signing like that. I wish it was even possible.
Yeah,
but it's not.
Well, 100%, right? But
and here's another fact, Derek. If the Dodgers didn't have Ohtani, they would have been right there at the front of the Kyle Schwarber line, because they would have been like, "Oh, this is one of the top 3 DHs in the sport. Cool, yeah, we want him.
Yeah,
we need a DH. Cool, yeah, we'll get this guy."
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, like I said, the Toronto Blue Jays aren't far off from being that as well, because you're seeing every big free agent tied to the Toronto Blue Jays as well.
This is going to be another thing that I'm going to just hate you for, Derek.
I know, I get
it.
The
Blue Jays are nowhere close to the Dodgers.
They are.
No. They want to spend. I agree, but they don't. They're not deferring a $70 million APY contract for $2 million per year. So until they do that, they are not the Dodgers. No one is. The Ohtani contract is the craziest thing in sports right now.
Yeah. And what's crazy is, like, I think Jack said it the other day, there's still a decent portion of that they're getting hit with on their payroll.
It's like $46 million.
But it's still nothing compared to what he's actually getting paid, right? Like, it's still a portion of it. So I don't know, whatever it is. I mean, it just feels like, again, that's why the reason why I bring up the Toronto Blue Jays is, like, it just feels like these teams have no choice but to do that, right? If you want to compete, you have to go out and spend. And as Michael Dixon said earlier, it's Major League Baseball's problem. This is a Major League Baseball problem. It's not the Dodgers' problem. And the Dodgers had a need they felt they needed to address. So instead of going out there like any normal team and just getting a good, closer, a good reliever, they got the best. And they paid him an ungodly amount of money, more money than most teams can even afford to pay a starting pitcher. They paid that to a reliever.
Sick.
Yeah. And
this is fun.
Yeah,
we're all having fun.
And Kyle Tucker is visiting the Blue Jays facility in Florida, and they're looking at other people too. So
good for the Blue Jays, man. That's the type of like I think Ernesto set it up in the chat. A big problem with baseball is not only that the Dodgers spend like they do, but it's also that a lot of the other bigger market franchises don't really spend at that level. The Cubs, the Ricketts family, they're just whatever. We have all the money in the world. We're in Chicago. We have the second biggest fan base, third biggest fan base in the entire sport, and we'll let Kyle Tucker walk out the door. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
And shout out the Blue Jays for at least attempting to try to get to that level of winning. You know what I mean? I can respect that.
Well, and again, I can't condemn the Dodgers and praise the Blue Jays, because they're both trying to do the same thing. And again, the Dodgers, really, when it comes down to it, that's what the Mets and other teams are trying to do. The Mets, the Dodgers, these teams are spending. They're spending and they don't care. They're active in the market. They're attached. Like, when you look through trade rumors, or not trade rumors, but you look through like potential free agents and who's interested in them, you just see the Blue Jays time and time again. You see the Mets time and time again, right? So again, these are teams that are just, they've given up on the idea of the fairness of baseball, and they're just trying to compete with the Dodgers. Again, the deferred contracts thing, all of that, as much as it's an absolute way to circumvent the process put in place to keep baseball competitive, everybody's just going to circumvent it that can afford to circumvent it, right? I mean, and we'll never really know how much these teams make. We have these, we have these estimates. We've seen how much teams reinvest of their income back into the team, the percentages and stuff, but we still have no firm numbers on how much these owners are making off of owning these teams, and we probably never will. So until that transparency exists, we'll never truly know how much teams are losing or gaining on being owners of these franchises. I was talking to it today. Espo's thought is we just need new ownership here in Arizona. That's it, is that we need new ownership. But I would counter that, what business person that would buy a team in order to, yes, run it and like want to be in sports and want to be a part of baseball, but also be making money off of it as a business. What business owner is going to get involved with the Diamondbacks if they have to spend all of this money, but not be making anywhere close to that in return? Jerry Colangelo was always right about this city. This city loves a winner. And if you make this team a winner, people will come out and support it. But that's that's not a guarantee at any point, no matter how much you spend on a team, that they're going to be a winner. So, and you just don't know how people are going to support this team.
If you throw just more money at it, if it doesn't work, then
exactly.
There kind of is a guarantee.
You do it, and then it's a failure, like the Mets were last year. Then you just throw more money at it. So
yeah, and then you go in the offseason and you try to improve the roster. Here's the main difference. I think you look at the Dodge. I look at the Mets and I look at the Blue Jays, and obviously like they're trying to spend a ton of money as well. Armani Villalago here puts in the chat that the Blue Jays will have a higher, I believe, active payroll is the cherry picked stat to be precise. Active payroll, they will be higher once Kyle Tucker signs, depending on what his deferrals look like. But again, that doesn't factor in what the Dodgers are doing to circumvent the active payroll. My main issue, Derek, and I know you said that like fans are going to be fans, and I get it. I don't blame the Dodgers for doing this. I blame their fans for clapping like seals at the destruction of this sport and not being smart enough to realize that this helps the ultimate goal of MLB existing and thriving is this helps none of it. And so that's my bigger issue. I get the Dodgers are going to try to win. I get they're going to do what they can do within the confines of the sport, and what Rob Manfred allows them to do and what the other MLB owners allow them to do as of now. But ultimately, I do think it's going to cause us to be doing like Sandlot watch-along podcasts for an entire 6 months probably, because this is gonna piss a lot of people off.
I'm going to tell you this, and we'll move on after this, but one thing you said earlier was about how well the organization is ran. Historically, we have seen plenty of teams in plenty of sports try to put together an all-star team, and that collapsed on them. It did not work out. Egos were too big. Coaching wasn't good enough, whatever the case may be. I mean, the Phoenix Suns from last year versus this year are a prime example of the difference that star power can make without good coaching and without a team coming together. Meanwhile, this year, this Suns team, far more fun to watch. Last year's team, hated watching. This year's Suns team plays like a team and is, again, that kind of underdog mentality here where they put the right guys in place, even though these guys weren't big names, big stars, and somehow it's working out, right? Most of the time in sports, when you put together a team the way that the Dodgers have put together a team, it doesn't work out. It just requires far more of a team aspect to it. Yet they found the right guys. Even though those guys cost a ton of money, they spent the money on the right guys, and they assembled a team that's a winner and faced adversity, kind of went down in playoff series there, still was able to come back and win their second World Series. It's all gross to me, and I hate this. But what I will say is, again, the assembly of an all-star team for a franchise typically does not work in the way that it has for the Dodgers. And the reason why it has is because of the decisions they made and because of their front office being as good as it is. And that front office is the same front office that deferred payments and figured out a way to legally move around the competitive balance tax situation to a point where they still exceeded it more than any other team and paid more to any other team or than any other team did in competitive balance taxes. If you want to look at a bright side to this Edwin Diaz situation, at least the Diamondbacks are going to get some more money from the Dodgers because that money comes down to these teams. No, that's not. I don't want to look at that. But gross. I hate it. And of course, the Dodgers make it just hard to even be optimistic about the 2026 season.
Like we have like a decent, spine of a roster. In a regular sport, and basically any other sport, you look at Ketel Marte, Corbin, Carroll, Geraldo Perdomo. maybe the best non-Dodgers trio of position players of any team in the entire league. And you'd say, man, this is a team that we could build something around.
Right.
And meanwhile, we're sitting here and we're like, well, we could maybe pay 5 positions what the Dodgers just paid Edwin Diaz alone. We have to compete with the back-to-back champs who continue to only add all-star after all-star. And not only that, there's 2 other good teams in the division as well. So it's pretty doomsday over here. Is the NL West like the hardest division in all of sports?
That's what Tori said.
Is that just like a me in my own world because it affects me personally situation, or like what's a more difficult division?
I think yes. I think it's more because it affects us, because it's more of a one-sided thing with the Dodgers being so good. Yes, the rest of the division is very good, but you feel like you can compete with the Giants and the Padres. You feel like you have a chance against those teams. You feel like there could be a shot for the Diamondbacks to come in second in the NL West. You just don't feel like they could ever come in first.
I'll rephrase it, because I agree with you. I think that like we could probably go across the sports and find a division that is top to bottom has a better like
competitive nature. Yeah,
exactly.
Like all the teams are competitive.
Like the NFC East, for example. I think that this year is going to be the first year in like 20 years that a team won it 2 years in a row. That the Eagles are about to win it 2 years in a row. That'll be the first time in like forever.
And they don't deserve it. They're frauds.
The NFC North has been really good recently, right? But like, I don't know if there's a worse division to be in than the NL West.
Any division that the Dodgers are in.
Because not only, I mean, you have the highest spending team, the team that is the best team and that wins it, every year for a decade straight, but you also have the Padres really trying to compete. You have the Giants who have won multiple World Series in this century. Like it is hell on earth to be in this division.
Benjamin said it best. He said the Dodgers are the Globetrotters and the rest of us are the Washington Generals.
It does feel that way a little bit.
Hey, and look, I see people, I know there's going to be plenty of Dodgers fans, not only here in the live chat, but after this show is over, dunking on us in the comments. And I will say that those comments make me completely agree with Damon that you guys are the problem. But it also makes me realize that, once again, it's just weird to like win 2 World Series and then still, I don't know, need to be taking victory laps on a team like us. So leave us alone. Leave us. Stop harassing us. Get out of here, BC. We're tired of your harassment. But we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, Damon, we have more bad news, or maybe it's good news. I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. But Mike Hazen made it very clear that the Ketel Marte trade rumors are exactly that. Just rumors. We're going to talk about it on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Of course, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Now is a great time to get down as a new user on Bet365 if you haven't done so already. New users can get themselves some bonus bets, and of course, now is still the best time of the year to bet on football. There are so many options, so many props over there at Bet365 for you to get down on, including their same game parlay Sundays. You also have their Thursday night football $10 safety net bet offer. Big Thursday night football game coming up this week, as well as get in on their $365,000 bonus bet jackpot on Sunday night football. All of this fun can be had. Plus, you are a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an early payout over at Bet365, regardless of the actual outcome of the game. And this counts for NFL and college football as well. So again, breaking news right now, new customers can receive $150 in bonus bets when you sign up and bet $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up and use that code of PHNX365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to receive $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. And, for those of us on the naughty list, now actually isn't the worst time of the year, because thanks to Fascinations, if you're on the naughty list, you can get properly rewarded. So this holiday season, get what you really want at Fascinations. And let's do it sometimes without the awkwardness, right? Like, guys like me, obviously looking at me, I'm heading right into Fascinations. I'm getting down on their deals. But again, if you do not want to necessarily shop in store, there's a far more discreet way to do so, where you can avoid the weird eye contact, the awkward checkout, and the "is this for you" look. Right now, you can buy online and pick up in store. It's fast, it's easy, and again, totally discreet. Shop online at fascinations.net or visit one of their 12 locations here in Arizona and use our promo code of PHNX30 at checkout to receive 30% off your order. That's PHNX30 for 30% off your order at fascinations.net. Fascinations, Naughty List approved. Well, you guys, we have some news here from the winter meetings, and not the news that we already discussed that we hate, but yesterday Mike Hazen was interviewed by our guy Mike Farron at the winter meetings, and Mike had some interesting comments in regards to the Ketel Marte trade rumors. We know in the past, as we discussed I think a week ago, that Hazen has kind of already shut down the rumors, and it still didn't stop the rumors from getting hotter. Hazen had said that they were taking calls that turned into the Dbacks shopping Ketel Marte around, according to reports, and things have kind of just been all over the place. So as far as Mike Hazen is concerned, I think he kind of addressed those rumors and set the record straight as to this not being any different than any other offseason when it comes to teams calling about Ketel Marte. Here's what Mike had to say.
I have received incoming a ton of conversations on him every single year since he's become a superstar.
Do you think that the story last year about him with his teammates impacted that people were more alert to this idea going into the winter?
Who knows? Like, it's hard for me to even understand what it is. What do I think? I think he's a superstar player. He's on a good deal relative to the industry. I think that makes him very attractive to a lot of teams that think that they can just go get this guy. And that we're in this position, we're a 500 team and we have a lot of, whatever they think we are, where we're at financially. And I think that spurs some of the calls. I do. And when I don't just shut down talks on day one with any of these guys, I think maybe that becomes the narrative. What I hear out there is about teams that are interested and teams that we've talked to. There's reports out there of teams we've talked to that we have not even talked to. So I don't even know how to, when I start to refute that stuff, then I'm engaging in the conversation, So it's you guys know this. It's a very tricky game to play. I'm not trying to hide the ball or play games. I just say he has always been our most asked about player every single offseason.
First of all, the teams he's talking about that he didn't have discussions with has to be the Pirates and the Rays, right? It has to be the Pirates and the Rays. Those two teams still didn't make any sense to us when they were reported as teams that checked in on Ketel Marte. But as you can see here, again, I don't think Mike is trying to lie about this, like as he said there. I don't think he's trying to play a game. He also went on to say, according to another interview, that he's going to have to sit down with Ketel after all of this is said and done and explain a lot of what happened, right? I'm sure that there might be some bad feelings on Ketel's side in his camp in regards to these rumors. And again, it's like when his name keeps coming up as often as it has during these winter meetings and this offseason in general, it's hard not to feel like you are, like you are being shopped around, like you are somebody that your team no longer wants, right? So it's not a great situation. And when all is said and done, I think it's right that Mike needs to, kind of discuss this with Ketel and kind of reiterate that the team really wasn't shopping him around in the way that it was portrayed. I mean, according to those to Bob Nightingale's article yesterday, he had said that the team was, kind of fed up with him, right? Time to cut ties, I believe is what he said. And it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel like it's something that the Diamondbacks can afford to do. The biggest selling point about a trade for Ketel Marte is how team friendly his contract is. Doesn't a team like the Diamondbacks need a guy that's an MVP candidate on a team-friendly contract for a while? Don't we need somebody that, sticks around here? I feel like the rumors are almost a further indictment of the problems that we're talking about with baseball. Like Mike said, they're a 500 baseball team, so blood's in the water, and they're willing to trade Ketel for some prospects. Like, no, absolutely not. And you could get your bogus trade proposals out of my mentions on social media because I am sick of seeing them. Every team in baseball right now thinks that they can send over like 3 or 4 prospects to the Diamondbacks and they'll get Ketel Marte the way you would get a player at the trade deadline on an expiring contract. You fools. And so again, this is one area where Killer X and I completely agree, even though we probably don't agree on the source because he blames a completely other person. I just blame this on all of us. I even blame it on us. Look at me here, still talking about Ketel Marte. This was going to be like our 3rd week in a row that we had a Ketel Marte headline that it talked about Mike Hazen turning down or, discussing the trade rumors or trying to turn him down, right? Like, it does feel like a lot of people are actively trying to run Ketel Marte out of town. It actively feels like what happened over the 2025 season was kind of a molehill that was made into a mountain, right? And tried to be made into a much bigger deal than what it was. So I don't know, but I won't lie. When I see certain things on social media now, I panic, right? The other day, we'll talk about it here in a little bit. Ketel Marte had a wonderful video of him smashing dingers at Lone Depot Park with a metal bat and hitting the roof at the stadium, and I'm not supposed to get fired up by that. I'm supposed to not want my guy back. I'm supposed to not want Ketel Marte on this team when I'm watching him smash dingers and hit him off the roof, right? But more importantly, he posted just this innocent picture on his Instagram story yesterday, and I panicked. I was like, I am ready to overthink this. What does this mean? It could just be a picture of Ketel. He could be a reference to maybe Perdomo and his announcement. Could be a reference to a lot of things. But when I saw this from Ketel Marte, this looks like a man that just found out he was traded and is shocked. He's doing the surrender cobra. I didn't love it. So now here we are in a position to overthink every single picture and every single post from Ketel Marte, Damon.
I mean, it was cryptic.
It was cryptic.
It was cryptic from
No
Ketel.
Description, no words, no nothing. What is that?
Yeah. No, he's trying to mess with us there and with baseball fans everywhere that know that we care about what he has to say in a situation like that. My guess is that he's just kind of, playing into it.
I mean, hey, look, I love it. I love it when people play into it, Damon. I love when they hear the rumors and do the thing. In fact, there was another Instagram post. This one did not freak me out. This one delighted me, and I thought it was a great dunk. This was Zach Gallen on his Instagram post with his lovely wife, and the caption reads, "The only contract signed this weekend. Marriage, happiness." Look at this. That's a way. That's a way to dunk on rumors right there. I like that.
Sick
I appreciate
ring.
this.
Studded out diamonds on Zach Gallen's ring.
Congrats to ZG and EG. You guys are amazing. And again, they got engaged around this exact time last year, November of last year. So if that, I didn't do my research, but if this in fact means Zach Gallen is now a married man, mazel tov to you, sir. But again, that's a post that made me feel better. One thing that does not make me feel better, Damon, is the pitching market being at a standstill. Now that Edwin Diaz has signed, again, this run on closers and elite relievers continues. I'm sure we'll see some Zach Gallen news come out soon. It feels like, again, that signing is imminent. And again, if it is for that dollar value that we need it to be, the Diamondbacks will get that compensatory pick back from whatever team signs him. But, again, the starting pitching market kind of at a standstill. A lot of guys, Dylan Cease was considered one of the top guys available on the market. But now outside of that, there is not a lot of pitchers that are moving, right? So you have a lot of I don't know, C-level talent once you get down past Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. I think that's the problem for us when you take a look at who is available on the free agent market. It is also a reason why it feels like there's a good chance the Diamondbacks could make some sort of trade for that other starting pitcher that they need. Available right now is guys like Framber Valdez, who is far out of the Diamondbacks range. We discussed Ranger Suarez, but we believe even he is out of the Diamondbacks range as far as dollar amount. And then again, You have a few other names we've discussed: Nick Martinez, Chris Bassett, Michael King. All guys that are highly coveted and guys that will probably receive decent contracts. Maybe Chris Bassett, probably being the older guy there, probably won't get a long-term deal, but again, he'll most likely come back to the Blue Jays. If not, we'll receive a decent amount of money to pitch for somewhere else, most likely on, a shorter-term deal, but still on an annual value that might be too much for the Diamondbacks to consider. I liked Chris Bassett as the second choice there because of his kind of, what he did for the Blue Jays out of the bullpen, and perhaps he could do that for the Diamondbacks later in the season when Corbin Burnes returns. But when you start looking at the list of available free agents and you start getting below Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, the pickings are slim, guys. The pickings are slim, and we've talked about a lot of the potential options, but none of them are great. None of them are going to be that starting pitcher that makes you feel like the Diamondbacks can now compete with this Dodgers team that just did what it did in acquiring Edwin Diaz. So I don't know. It really does feel that Merrill Kelly at 37 years old on a 2-year deal might be the Diamondbacks' best option and might be the best available free agent pitcher that they can afford right on the market. So those we'll continue to see. Merrill probably discussed as an option for this team. Quite frankly, Zach Gallen also right there as another option, but it still feels like Zach will get more than the Diamondbacks are willing to pay. So we definitely, I don't know. It feels like Merrill Kelly, if the Diamondbacks are able to acquire Merrill Kelly, if they're able to bring on also like a Pete Fairbanks, then it feels like a win. But we've talked about so many of these guys. And like I said, after that, there's not a lot of guys you want us talking about on this starting pitcher list. At least not a lot of names that's going to excite the fan base. I still think, a guy like Lucas Giolito might be an option for this team, and should they do that, he might be a surprising option for the Diamondbacks.
Is that like if we bring in a guy like that, that's like the ace that they're bringing in this offseason, no? At this point?
Yeah. I mean, basically.
God, that feels bad.
Yeah, it's not good. It should feel bad. It should feel bad.
I remember when we had Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen locked up, and we were talking about bringing in Lucas Giolito as like the fourth starter. Now we're talking about bringing in Lucas Giolito as the gosh darn ace, Derek.
Yeah, I don't.
What happened to this franchise?
What happened to the franchise I loved?
Genuinely,
again, I don't know.
I think Merrill is definitely coming back. To Culver's point.
I commend Mike Hazen on having to continue to do his job after this news comes out that the Dodgers just got better. So. I think that's probably the part that's, I don't know, it makes me feel the most depressed. And yes, I'm very depressed about this. So if there's any Dodgers fans here that want to know how I feel, sad and bad, those are the two ways I would describe how I feel. But what's more depressing is no matter what, you have to see about, what you're going to do, or you can't feel excited about any moves this team makes. You have to see what the Diamondbacks are going to do, but yay, they had Merrill Kelly. Do you feel like we're competitive? I mean, that's the thing that I think this move really makes it feel bleak, makes the future feel bleak, is that I know we weren't going to compete with the Dodgers for the division already. I was not ignorant enough to believe that, but now it just feels like, what's the point of the entire 2026 season? Let's just give it to them now. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm going to try to suck it up and have a more positive attitude here, but we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we're going to talk about far more positive things, and that is Geraldo Perdomo participating in the World Baseball Classic as a member of the Dominican Republic team, and we're going to talk a little bit about how he might end up facing off against Corbin Carroll in the finals and how awkward that's going to be. So we're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. If you're an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. Desert Financial has branded debit cards that show off your team spirit for teams like the Arizona Cardinals, ASU, and NAU. And of course, do not miss out on all of the wonderful services that our friends at Desert Financial have to offer. They got me started on my home ownership journey, and hopefully they can get you started on whatever financial goal you're trying to achieve. You can look to Desert Financial for mortgages, checking and savings accounts, investment options, and so much more. And right now, if you sign up online, you can get a free checking account online. When you open a free checking account online, you can get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. And of course, make sure you join a credit union that is committed to giving back to the community and sharing success with their members. You also know the moment when you have lost your sunglasses. This just happened to me. I was hanging out with my friends, going to a wrestling show, and I had this belt and lots of things in my hands. And of course, now I cannot find my sunglasses once again. I'm sure the folks at Shady Rays are sick of hearing from me, but luckily they are very, very gracious with their lost and broken replacement plan. And of course, if you lose your sunglasses, even several times, they still have your back and they will make sure you get a new pair of sunglasses, no questions asked. Not to mention that they have some quality, durable frames and some of the best lenses, optical lenses that you can get. They have polarized lenses that look great. They also have their color rush lenses that add an extra little spice to your view as well. So do not miss out on the wonderful sunglasses provided by Shady Rays and their wonderful lost and broken replacement plan. We teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use our code of PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Well, we got some news yesterday, according to an interview that our guy Geraldo Perdomo made or did. He announced that he will, in fact, be playing for the Dominican Republic in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. And Damon, I'm pumped. I'm fired up. I will say that it makes me a little nervous. We talked about this when Corbin Carroll joined Team USA, that, you know, I don't love the idea just based on it obviously increasing the odds, the likelihood that something bad could happen to Corbin Carroll. And that's probably the only reason not to love this news. But
I just, Derek, we just think in such different ways.
I know.
All you can think about is
I'm negative Nancy, as Killer X said. I'm being negative Nancy.
All you think about is how the Dbacks are going to stink next year, and how, you know, and obviously I hate the Dodgers too, but also like how the sport's ruined, and how,
like, you don't think the sport's ruined?
Perdomo and Corbin Carroll, bad things are going to happen because they're playing, representing their countries and representing this organization, this fan base at the highest level of the game, Derek.
Yeah.
Be excited. Get fired up.
No. It's the reason why teams didn't used to let their players play on these kind of things, right? Like, I'm investing money in you. I don't want you to go do this. But I'm really glad that teams are, because the World Baseball Classic is really shaping up to be something exciting. And Geraldo Perdomo being on the Dominican Republic team is exciting. Corbin Carroll being on Team USA is exciting. And it's not just that, right? We have these other announcements today that Team USA added one Kyle Schwarber to their lineup. They also added Will Smith, Gunnar Henderson, and Bryce Terang. So good luck, rest of the world. You got an outfield of Corbin Carroll, PCA, Aaron Judge. Infield, Gunnar Henderson at third, Bobby Witt Jr. at shortstop, Bryce Terang at second. You got Paul Skeens on the mound. You have Will Smith catching. You have Cal Raleigh catching. And then you have Kyle Schwarber as a DH. I love this. I'm pumped for this. And you know what this means, Damon? This means that we could, in fact, see Geraldo Perdomo's Dominican Republic team face off in the finals against Corbin Carroll's Team USA. I think that's the only time that these teams could actually face off against each other based on the pools that they're in. But should that happen, electric. So, yes.
I mean, listen, Derek, we already have, and when I say we, you know, stick with me here for a second.
Sure.
We already have Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, Ellie De La Cruz, and Geraldo Perdomo set up on our roster. On our roster. So you might be feeling good about where you guys are at, and I say you guys. When
I'll say Team USA versus your team.
When
Dominican
I say
Republic.
You guys, I mean you guys.
I get it. You're disowning us. This is really weird because one of us is from the Caribbean and one of us is very much from the mainland United States, yet we've switched.
One
somehow.
of us has every right to actually root for Puerto Rico in this tournament.
Yeah.
And I am pigeonholing you as
Team USA guy.
Team USA guy.
I get it.
Whatever, take it.
Whatever,
you can have
I'll
it.
take it.
Because us over here in the DR, we're feeling real good about our roster. Real good.
Well, you know who else?
We just added a damn winner to this team.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But you know who else is filling this roster is the manager of the roster, one Mark DeRosa. He is definitely filling this roster, and he is filling Corbin Carroll being a part of this roster. Our guys from the DNVR podcast got us this little interview footage from the winter meetings today. Here's what Mark DeRosa had to say about Corbin Carroll possibly being the best player on Team USA.
Mike was very adamant about young energy mixed in with some of the veteran superstars of the game, and I'm in complete agreement with him, and I think he is the definition of that. Like young energy, like tools out. It's his time. He's deserving of it. I mean, he's one of those guys that if he gets rolling, he could end up being the best player that we have on the roster. So he was super excited when I called him. His goal was to get to the World Series and to make this roster. That's what he said. He had 2 goals coming into this season, and obviously didn't make it to the World Series, but he's going to get an opportunity to run in an outfield with some big guys, and I expect him to play well.
Mark, into the 23.
What's that?
Well, Mark DeRosa wasn't the only person at the winter meetings that had some nice things to say about Corbin Carroll. Killer X's favorite person, Tori Lavallo, is here with his thoughts on Carroll being a part of Team USA. Here's what Tori had to say.
I love that D-Rose going back at it one more time. I think he's a perfect man for that group, and for us to turn Corbin over to him for a period of time, we're lucky that he's going to be in good hands. Corbin made us aware. He kept us up to date, myself and Mike, through text about what his intentions were and what he was thinking about doing. And when he finally made the decision, he was really excited about it. And the fact that he can represent his country really excites us. So we feel that way about all of our players that are going to be potentially playing in the WBC. I think there's names I'm sure you guys have seen those names. But it's official that Corbin's going to be representing Team USA, and I'm so proud of him, and I know that he's really excited about it. I think he did that through his amateur career, where he's playing 18U, 16U, one of the best, and that's just continued. So it means he's a really good player. He's very deserving of it, and I know he's excited to go out there and help the team win a gold medal.
He looks well rested, doesn't he?
He does look well rested.
He looks
actually
well rested. He does look well rested.
Excited to help this team win a gold medal. Is he unaware that Geraldo Perdomo just got added to the DR roster?
I don't know. Your pitching is not strong though, so I don't know about your team, but we'll see what gets added. We'll see who gets added. Still,
you've never seen defense like that in your life.
No, you definitely haven't. Well, they're going to need it, but here's the thing: Aroldis Chapman, he threw his hat in to play in the World Baseball Classic, Damon, but not for who you might think. It wasn't for Team USA. It wasn't even for another team that you might think he would play for. It was for Great Britain. Aroldis Chapman wants to play for Great Britain. And apparently some people did their due diligence without actually hearing from Chapman as to why he would want to play for Great Britain, and tried to look into his family lineage to see where it intersects with the UK. And apparently it doesn't. His grandfather was from Jamaica, which was technically a British colony or Commonwealth, and that's the reason why he wants to play for Great Britain. I say let him play for Great Britain, right? Like, there's no danger there of that team being any good anyway, right? They can't even keep the letters on their jerseys, and that's no disrespect to the fine folks from the England, UK area. Piece of Yoshi asked, that counts? I don't know. I guess so. I don't know the rules here. I don't know. But there you go. Aroldis Chapman, Britain. But in other news, we did get a brief mention the other day that in the Venezuelan, I believe it's the Venezuelan Winter League for the Carnales, that the Gabriel Moreno apparently was playing first base in a game. And I know someone in the chat earlier wanted us to overreact to Jordan Lawler's 170 batting average in the Dominican Winter League. So I figure why not overreact a little bit to the news that Gabby Moreno is playing first base. Right? I don't know. It is what it is, but I'm sure it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. The man won a gold glove at catcher, but
I'm more concerned about him being in the Venezuelan Winter League. Be safe, my guy.
Were you just criticizing me? Or are you just criticizing Venezuela as an unsafe place, Damon?
Are you aware of what's going on
now
with Venezuela?
I know.
I'm worried about my sweet baby Gabby.
Honestly, yeah.
Don't close the damn borders because we need a catcher.
Yeah, get him back here.
That's what I'm saying.
Get him back here ASAP. But did want to tell you guys, of course, that we have some new hats available in our merch shop. If you haven't had a chance to check them out, they're pretty gorgeous. I won't lie. I love this Phoenix one that I'm rocking right now. But there are 3 new branded Bills designs featuring their new canvas model. And you can visit store.allcitynetwork.com or go to gophnx.com, click on the merch tab, find the latest merch for your favorite sports network here in Arizona. The Phoenix Suns hat is fire. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, make sure to go right now. Quantities are limited, so act now before supplies run out. And I think if you get that order in soon, you might be able to get that before the holidays come around. But before we get out of here, we just wanted to address one. Jake Lamb is back with the organization. I was going to bring this up, I believe about 2 weeks ago, because our guy Archie Bradley had tweeted out, or not tweeted out, but posted a sweet video on Instagram congratulating Jake Lamb on his retirement from MLB. Still waiting. I think Archie has made that official, but I don't know if he has. And I think Archie in his mind is always, I think Archie thinks he's always ready to play baseball. So Archie
that like setup man mentality.
Archie may never retire from the game.
Coach, you want me, Coach?
I guarantee you, wherever he is right now, he has cleats and a glove with him.
Yeah.
Just with him. Just in case.
I feel like every Dbacks game he goes to, he throws it in the back of his car just in case Torrey calls him out.
Needs him. Yeah. Well, per our guy Steve Gilbert, Jake Lamb will be rejoining the Diamondbacks and becoming a part of the player development staff. So that's really cool. He will mainly work with position players in the organization and also spend some time with major leaguers. So it sounds like he'll be working with some of the minor league talent in Reno and perhaps other cities, as well as, the talent here. So really cool. I mean, Jake Lamb, he takes me back to some good times. Jake Lamb was one of those players. Jake McCarthy actually reminds me quite a bit of Jake Lamb, and it's not just because both of their names are Jake, although I'm sure that is a factor. I just think it's kind of the same thing where Jake Lamb was an all-star one season. I mean, we thought the world of Jake Lamb, and it just felt like things hampered his career and kept him from really ever achieving his full potential, at least on a long-term consistent basis. And again, I feel like I think the same way of Jake McCarthy, right? Like Jake McCarthy is one of those guys that he's had some very good stretches, and you almost are waiting to see him put it together and start delivering consistent results at the plate, in the field. Yet, we're not really seeing that. And in fact, it's like as time goes on, you're almost seeing him kind of regress and get a little worse at both defense and at the plate. It's not to say that adjustments can't be made for him to turn things around, but again, it's the reason why, just kind of reminiscent of Jake Lamb there a bit. But Lamb, always a great guy, always a great attitude person to be around. So again, it's going to be a big help to this organization. I do love how the Diamondbacks have these guys that have meant so much to this organization, to this franchise, to the fans, come back and stick around as part of the team. We saw Miguel Montero last year hanging around, helping coach, helping do things. He also is helping recruit Merrill Kelly at a Suns game. Meanwhile, again, you have Jake Lamb now coming back here to the organization. So they definitely really, really cool to see, guys like this returning and helping this team and the young guys develop. So appreciate you guys so much. Let's see. Chevy just showed up. Chevy K572 said, on my break, where's the beer from Levine, Arizona? I don't know where to get the beer in Levine, Arizona, but I assure you that if we could get it there ASAP, we would buy one on us. Buy one on Damon. Damon's loaded.
Sure.
But again, we're just trying to get over a very bad day around here. And again, for those that are here to take further victory laps, keep circling because, again, at this point, we're ready to already punt on 2026, maybe 2027, and then I don't know. Maybe I'll get my act together by 2028, be a little bit more positive. But I am sad for now. I am depressed. I am defeated, and I hope this Diamondbacks organization can make a move that helps me and most of you feel better. Cool Bro wants to know who is the masked man, and this is a wrestling reference. So I want it to be Montez Ford, but I think it's Austin Theory. That's all I got for you. I know that's boring. I know that's all the rumors, but Montez would be great. All right. Well, for the rest of you, we appreciate you guys so much for stopping by, except Killer X. We thank you guys for your time, except Killer X. We will see you guys tomorrow with another 12 p.m. show. Until then, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dawg with a DAWG at the end. And as always, we're all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We love you guys. We thank you so much for your time. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful evening. Behave yourselves. Cool, bro. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you're a Dodgers fan.
We all silly like the mayor.